The enlightenment chasers. Royalties of peace.
Royalties of peace.
We are stealing the storms back
We
to
are
peace that has no storm. Holding on to perfect
stealing the
peace.
storms.
Today is February 25th of
Back to
2025.
peace that has no storm. Holding on to perfect peace.
A significant day
Yes.
in the Black History
No
Month.
matter what may be happening, we must hold our
Experiencing
ground
the commencement of the Golden Age.
of what intervention
This is our 19th
we are
episode
enabling.
by Maris
While on
Free,
this
the
journey
fan,
to the
on supremacy.
eternity perfect.
What is supremacy?
The mind battlefield free. We must reach of none left behind.
After watching the news and
This
feedback
is
concerning the
the
present
15th
administration
of the
of the
Golden
United
Age
States of America,
by
2025.
Maris Free, the fan. February 19th of
Cry of the people.
2025. It is a Wednesday, my water day.
In resistance,
Must I please
the
bring
administration
to us this refreshing of
calls
the
our
mind,
attention
while at this time of complexity of the mind,
to meditate
no
upon our
matter the
purpose.
chaos, we
before
must be able
we can
to
reach
hold
out to comfort
the
each
end
other.
goal.
Aware
The solution to the problem
that everyone
is
can
the
cry,
core.
either
Or without
ignorantly
the solution, there cannot be a problem.
or
The
with
problem
really
is generated
in need
from
of a
the
solution.
solution.
Some are the solution
What am I
and in
saying?
tears,
The problem is only
not understanding their calling.
an affirmation of the solution.
It is so
Impossible
interesting how
to be disrupted.
watching
While we
the
are
movement
navigating through this
and
time
resistance march,
of the journey,
I can, through the crowd,
must we reach the destination,
see
our origin. It is not new to
President
us,
Trump marching
but rather the
against
problem
himself.
should be new to us. But
Who
impossible
is
because we have
President
been
Trump
through this road for
among
a
the people?
while. This is not the first
The children,
presidency
women who haven't had
or
children,
administration of the United
and
States
all
of
men.
America.
Even these
In our
are
own
who we call the rich
individualized home,
among the people.
we experienced conflicts that we need to resolve
The most
between
depressed
parents,
ones
siblings,
is the woman who has
relatives.
bore a child.
We all understand that we all always have
The one
something
whom all stand
to worry
against.
about. Might be easy to solve.
Standing against
Some just take a longer
is
time,
not of cruelty.
which is why we always enable
against
the
is like
short-term
light.
goals and the long-term goals.
Shining on the stage,
It might have come to our awareness
and you being the one
that
standing
in this administration there has been so much
to express self. All fingers pointing at
disruption that
a
has not
childbearing
been
woman.
experienced
A
like in the
childbearing
days of
woman
the
is a
civil
woman who
rights
has already had children.
and civil wars.
You can never tell
A long time of silence,
if a woman can bear a
such
child
that
until
just
they
a
have
little
had one.
shake of the ground, we
Some
begin
to
to feel
feel
like
like
we can all just go
because
down.
they are of bearing age does not mean that they are a woman that
How
can bear a
we
child.
express how we feel right now is because
A
of
very
the past.
difficult question to ask
We have
a
heard
woman.
of stories
How many children would
in
they
the
want to
past
have?
which we don't
Not
want
even
them
sure
to repeat
if they can
themselves.
bear a child.
Not all women can bear a child. Going through the news, supremacy today, supremacy, trying to gather information of how we the people are reacting towards the administration
What is
of
supremacy?
present time.
According
The
to
commencement of the
dictionary,
golden age, how it is
Cambridge.org,
being approached.
supremacy means
What is the
leading or controlling
curiosity
position,
of the people? Is
the
it
best
positive
position.
or negative?
Vocabulary.com states it is the
Negative can
state
never
of
be real,
having the
but
ultimate
only
authority.
a daydreaming.
For example, a ruling king has supremacy over his
Or a
kingdom.
nightmare that we
The
all
most
can only
flexible one
individually awaken
is the one without a
out
child,
of it without the other.
which is why men are
But
always
no one can know if you are having a
favored
nightmare or not
than women
until you awaken and tell your story.
when it comes to payment.
The White House contradicting the president.
Work and
It's not new
payment.
to us. When we, the people,
Men are
contradict
highly paid than women
ourselves,
when it comes to work,
we hardly can
and
really
there have
relate
always
with our
been a
own
question
individual
concerning
selves.
this. Women
Only
right,
still
women
in
right,
training
women right.
to understand who we are of an
Always
individual being.
the cry
We make mistakes and correct ourselves,
from a woman,
but
especially
we do
with
not want
children.
drastic mistakes or mistakes
The
that are
ruling king.
prolonged into chaos.
Who is the ruling king?
How do we resolve the
The
government of
one
the United
whom,
States,
no matter what the weather is able to stand firm.
of America?
Yes, on the
Which
news,
I always
you
want
might
to
have heard
pave it in my mind
headlines
to
like
its expectation.
His Excellency President Trump is a dictator,
The capital of the multicultural world,
where dictatorship is a form of government in which
some may
one
not be in
person
agreement to
or a
it,
small group
claiming that
possesses
the United States of
absolute
America has always put
power
itself
without
of a white
effective
supremacy,
constitutional
where no
limitation,
other race
according
can
to
speak out except of
britannica.com,
a white race,
detecting to
what does
all
this mean
other
to us? Cultures in the world and nations in the world,
so
what should
many
be done
reports going out of
and what should
His
not be done
Excellency President Trump
without consideration,
not following the
watching the
constitutional
news.
guidelines of expected. Have I been trying for us to ask ourselves what
And learning
are the
about
definitions of the Constitution? It is very obvious that working is to reach an end goal.
supremacy,
Yes, it is said
far
that we
right,
should work,
a white supremacist far right,
but we are working to reach an end goal. We are not trying to make
extremist,
work a tradition. Then we will never reach the end goal.
named Sir
If we keep on adding more workers
Anders
to work
Breivik in the
and our
Norway.
focus is only to keep working, then we have failed.
Well, they
Doing
say
the
he
right,
killed, but we understand that he
not efficiently.
commanded the killing
Before
of
we can even talk
77
about a
people
dictator,
in
let us
Norway.
understand where we are coming short
Also,
from. Before we are experiencing one who is not efficient with keeping the Constitution, must we, the people, ask ourselves the question, what are we not efficiently following
scam,
concerning the Constitution? It is the law of the land.
healing,
What is the law of the land? The command, the
same day.
instructions. What are the instructions of the land? To stay a good citizen,
It is
to
said that
maintain
this
the
is a
ground,
modern
to
mass
anchor.
murder,
Anchor for what? To reach
indicating that he
enlightenment
was
perfect.
not a primitive
We
man,
already have a design
nor an
of our being, of
uneducated
aging.
individual. We are not animals in the
Human
sense that we
development
are
expresses to us
higher minds.
a beginning of time and an end of
Humans
time.
are higher minds and not
You
animals.
never
Animals are
work continuously forever.
primitive
There is a reason why we have a retirement
creatures
age.
that cannot
It is
attain
not for another to
a
replace
higher
us, but for us to
state
complete work.
of intelligence.
It is time we begin
When
to
we
really
put ourselves
revisit our
in the
Constitution
kingdom animalia,
and really understand where we are
it
coming from.
defeats our expectation
We,
being humans.
the terms we are using today, There are very close relations with some animals and plants in the ocean. On the placards, it is not about
On the
what
signs
you look
that
like.
people were carrying.
It's about your mind. In this movement, there were signs like, and humans are a very specific, resist, and unique kind of a being. Fight for our rights. When we look back in the past, screw project complications we have had of complicated war orders. Immigrants make America great. These are only. My mother worked days, a long term. The least I can do problems is complete, which is why thinking out loud is so recommended. It's coupled and how we address what is being thought out loud. Justice matters. For no one is primitive. My mom worked even when what is said, the least I can do is couple of hours to try to bring justice. It is very important to enable a lesson for the people, by the people. Resist. It seems like we are beginning to wonder how much power should the president really have. My body over my money, my choice. Or is it time all for of us these terminate our own executive branch for us to ponder upon and let the legislative these are not giving judiciary us take control. The solution. But there is no branch that does not have its weakness. The tool to get to the solution without a weakness. What are we resisting? So many complaints have been going on. We are resisting fascism. Fascism is the seed that can grow into the tree. The firing of workers that has led to totalitarian and systems. The bird flu and bringing us back to unexpected dictatorship malfunctions where there is no check or balance by the legislative and the judiciary. Might not be how do we express the way it would be if the president was of democracy in such or gentle president and administration. We have the bird flu or where the judiciary and the legislative because have no power. There is need for recruitment to assist the executive readjustment and the executive order and shifts. But in this case, it's more like the president is the one trying to make shifts and things are happening. Or might have been that very true. Technically, even President Trump enabled mismanagement and what he's doing. But what is the cause errors that are happening of lifting your hand, whatever the circumstance, up that we are facing right now, or raising your voice at what the child really when want you do not want is the need for, though you feel it so hurting. What makes you to raise your voice at a child? Self-reliability. And the child feels so ridiculed. Why should you yell at me? I learned that why should you talk to me like that? Even my dad has never spoken to me that way. When you keep on trying to tell a child something and the child is not listening, then and you're forced to raise your voice. Violence is never the solution. You may say in some cases might not be about this over and over and over idea, but it seems like the child is not listening. So we need to raise our voice. Raising your voice or one-on-one, where one-on-one is not enough happening without being able to be in control. Should you just keep telling the child you're gonna fall into the child falls? Some are expressing and then blame it on you, those of not doing your best. This presidency, Generation no Z is watching us. Follow the president, and we are the ones who have given them the title. Like Congress Z has no power. When of the alphabet, this presidency Z is really the last and final of the alphabet. Overboard. What is this to us? We control. Do we really want to drown that is affecting people, our future, complicatedly? Or do we want to raise them up? We are faced with our own calamities. Unfortunately, this administration, I looked at leadership, it's not one that can hide people.
the truth. It is very obvious that
The
you
truth
always
is
need
bitter
flexibility when
and
it
has
comes to
always been
managing
bitter,
people,
but must be
because we are
spoken.
not just a people,
Democratic
but
Party might have
people with their
tried
own
to
points of view and
play around it,
weaknesses.
enable palliative
Some are
care,
asymptomatic to their own
comforting.
problems, while
It never
others are
solves the problem.
symptomatic. And those that are symptomatic are very dangerous, because it's very hard
Palliative
to
care
correct
never
them
solves the
or
problem. It
help
only
them
gives you comfort.
to
When there is
correct
the cure,
themselves.
we are the cure, and we say
No
we
one
are the
corrects you,
people.
but you can correct yourself.
What is
Like I said
supremacy?
in the last
Is it
episode,
skin
that
color?
if you take a horse to the stream, you cannot force it
White
to drink.
supremacy
Only
is
it can
not
drink its
skin
water.
color. We
And no
are
matter
coming
how
from
long
a
it
black
quiets
age,
thirst, you
going
can
to
only keep
the
on
age of
encouraging.
light.
But in this case,
It is the mind.
we
When we
have
talk about enlightenment, it's not about the
the
skin
young generation
alone.
who are
It is
so
about
prior
the light.
to our
You
very
need not bleach
existence.
your skin to become
But
light.
it is because it is by our own reason
With
that they are here.
humanity,
They
enlightenment
did not
is
come here
of the
on their own.
mind.
We made them to come here.
You need not
And
become
we
the
are
flag of the country
responsible in making sure that
to
they
be
are
the
taken
country,
care of
the
and
citizen of the country. You can hold your flag
reach
and stand proud.
integrity of
You
expecting.
can hold your white man
Coming to our
and
senses
stand proud with the mind.
requires
The logic of white skin
reviewing leadership and management.
over black skin.
The cohesive leadership
It is supposed to blend,
requiring immediate
not
compliance,
rather against each other.
authoritative,
When Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. said,
mobilizing people
I have a dream
via
that
visioning,
the former slave owners' children and the
pace-setting
former slave
leadership,
owners' children will one day sit on the same table
expecting
of brotherhood
excellence and self-direction.
and share
Affiliative
joy
leadership
of equality.
centers around building emotional bonds.
He did not mean this
Democratic
design today
leadership
of black and
involves
white
creating
against black and white.
consensus
We're not trying to come together to make
and
a
coaching
new
leadership,
kind of a mixture of a problem.
developing people for
Having
the
the black
future.
and white rich against the black
We
and
are
white.
supposed to be coaching the
in need.
future, but rather we are faced with our
No
own
one is
weaknesses.
poor. But what is this division?
We are not efficient.
What is the cause of this division? Are some brothers meant to be
Okay, some
at
are
the war
blaming it on
front
those who were elected
for
the
some of
president.
us?
The majority of the votes. Are there in regrets? Is it about the
Is it not
president
time
or
for us
about
to
what
come
is
to
going
our
on?
senses?
Interestingly,
That our
today
purpose
I heard from a source that
is to take
it is
the
not really about the
figure
president, but
of
who is
speech
feeding
and
the
turn it
president
plainly
with
of the
information
mind,
of
expectation of battlefield free, reaching the destination
racial
perfect.
supremacy, the white supremacy.
Life may seem like a playground to you. This present life may seem to you like a dream or fiction.
Order.
Yet, fiction or non-fiction, a lesson must be enabled,
It
and we
seems like
must
there's
all
an
come to one
investigation
accord.
going on who is feeding the president
Supremacy
with white supremacy philosophy,
comes with becoming famous,
enabling the domination
black or white.
by the exclusion
It's always about becoming equal at the end. Whoever
and
goes up on the
detriment
hill
of
and
other
stretches the hand down to grab the
races
other,
and
it's
ethnic
not about
groups
bringing the other up
like
to go
blacks,
down, but rather the
Jews,
one down to join them up and become equal.
and others.
Doesn't matter how long the one up has been up.
Is this what
What
is really
matters is
going on?
both to become
According to my
up.
point of view, may not be what others are
Dictatorship.
experiencing.
We are worried about dictatorship.
I'm beginning to realize that
in
we
our
the
present
people are first of all
administration.
needing to first of all
We
consider
are worried
our
about the
weaknesses.
future.
That
Is this the
first of all
beginning
destroying
of
the purpose of
dictatorship?
America in general? Before we even look at the United States of America alone, America
And the
has been
declining of
so
democracy?
much disrupted by us, the people of the United States of America.
Brings to
Not
mind
because it's our fault, but because
presidents and
we were
leaders like
chosen by our forefathers and placed in a place where we need to shine light. But being the coaches, we are not coaching of expected because we do not really understand
President
the purpose of our forefathers is demoralizing.
Mobutu says
The expectation of the
Seko
United States of America being the light
of
of the world.
Zaire, present-day Democratic
Enlightenment
Republic
Jesus.
of Congo.
If you find yourself today in the United States of America, or even one diaspora, one like the diasporas of the United States of America, all over the world, a calling is not just to follow, but to be active. And active takes the understanding of your purpose. If it is undefined,
President
we find ourselves in a situation like
Antonio
this today.
Lopez,
Not blaming the president, not blaming the
Santa
Congress,
Ana, Mexico.
but we the people needing to reconsider. Before we point a finger at a man, the rest
who had once been in power
and considered to be
of the fingers
like
are pointing
dictators
back.
at the women.
People who care only about themselves and the
Because
rich,
it is a woman that
and care nothing about
biologically births
those
a child. It's
of lower
unfortunate that
income
when you point the
backgrounds.
finger at the man, you're pointing the finger at the mother.
Is this really what
We are
and it goes on
experiencing
and on?
today. When
A
we
man
say the
can never
rich
be blamed.
care about themselves,
They blame us
and
ends
care
with the
nothing
woman.
about, and unfortunately, the woman
Those
is
who
always
are
the subordinate of the man.
of lower stages.
And why? Because the woman is responsible.
How did this
of
come
the man
about?
being where they are. What is the purpose
It is the
of we the
woman's
people
pride.
to stand for the right?
When we say
If we
the
stand for the
president
right
does not
and
care
then the
about
opposite is happening, then we can have a voice. But when we are in
women with
support
children,
disabled of what is not right,
and
then
children,
we have the blame.
what are we saying?
Where can we complain?
Taking
When we
away
are
money
from their pockets,
victims,
leaving them
when we are
in
responsible
desolation and keeping themselves rich. How can I?
Is this really what it is?
Call for help when I am the
Some
criminal.
were born white. Some achieve whiteness.
March
Some
is the month of
being trusted upon them.
women. If we may
The
understand
women's
what
month.
I'm trying to say, women are really called all over the world.
Is going to school
When we
any
begin to
good?
experience things like this,
If we have to
it
end
is the
up
call for
under
women
dictatorship,
to stand their ground.
will the young ones be asking,
Women rule the world.
what have
But
we
the men
done to
control the
glorify
world.
our present days? Or what have we done
It is
to
only
deserve
possible where there is a
such
fault
a time like this?
on the woman.
Did God
We are on a
punish
journey
us
by giving
not
us
trying to make an
our
extended
president?
stay? Or is it light to
What
shine
does that mean to
upon
us?
the underlying
Taking power,
problem
taking high
that has
seats,
not been
being women.
surfacing? The need for
We
it to
cannot have
surface
one
for us
left
to
behind.
solve it,
Like
before the
one
future
of the leaders said,
of the Generation Z before us.
injustice
Silence is death. Should
in
we
one
really keep these problems
place
buried and
is
have fun
injustice for
now
all.
and watch the young suffer
It starts like
forever?
a seed
Or is this
to grow into a
a
tree.
strategy to solve the problem
What is injustice
that will
here?
enable a solution until
The
the end?
young generation watching us,
We want our economy to be great. Is this
enabling
a
chaos.
strategy to resolve our economy?
Is it the president enabling chaos,
Not to
or
only
has it been an
favor us
underlying
of now,
problem,
but
only
favor
surfacing?
even our future
Is it the president that is
by
enabling
sorting
the
out
problem,
all,
or is it an underlying problem
bringing out
surfacing?
everything into light? Should we wait? It's sad
To
how
leave the world
it is
and
affecting
experience
us
the children
completely. There would have been a better
suffer
way to address it. But when it
our
is so
weaknesses, or do we want to
stiff,
solve it now?
how do we start
It's time for us to
recovering?
really
When the long truck
understand
has
what
ended
governing
up
is.
in a very small road and needs
Our
a U-turn,
purpose is to reach enlightenment,
what
not to
takes to have that U-turn?
fill the earth.
A
We're
little
not trying
pressure
to
should not
popularize
become
the
so
earth.
violent. We
But
pray.
to become of
Our prayer is it
enlightenment
shouldn't
expected.
become violent.
Quantity
It shouldn't cause any bleeding.
is the
Let us
expansion.
only
It
use
is the
our mouths
expanding ground
and intelligence and
for
knowledge,
every
which
single
we have
one to have facilitation to
grasped from
walk
school and
with
walk our
quality.
way to freedom.
Quality life takes quantity. You need to be able to
Freedom from
maneuver,
mental slavery.
not being stuck, resisting fascism, trying to reach your end goal. Must we understand where it starts from? Fascism starts with the people not agreeing to reach the end goal, are in charge of the work of celibacy. White every individual is not just the race, are at work but the enlightenment of the mind to reach eternity, which integrity. We all have. But when one stays dormant and not despair, expect the other to become dominant. When a woman is pregnant and the one there is despair in dominion can only be enlightenment for the other, there is resistance to recover and equalize. Equality for each other takes there is conflict. There is awareness to slow down, seeking wellness. Maybe a long term. Should we keep multiplying or should we reach enlightenment perfect? Does not deprive us from reaching the equality that we need. This turbulent period must we work on the underlying problems only happen without seizing how we handle, making sure everything is solved now so we do not have another break. When someone is expressing, so the next pain president should be able to start a fresh page. When the president is complaining of wisdom, we need to figure out how to enable a cooler ridicule, not trying to make more provocation this present and then blame administration on the one crying. When a baby is must crying, sort out a way to provoke the make this baby. You try administration to have a be of effective work. We must know our administration to comprehend and know how to work with it. We are trying to heal, not trying to destroy. The rich have not stolen from the poor. Talking about where the poor must come to their senses, the ethnic of what is really keeping us disabled. Cleansing. Becoming pregnant. Ethnic cleansing. Removing people from a land can very. It is not about land detriment. It's about the mind because it destroys your identity. We have been warring yourself. This is for land. This is like for land, for more lands, for more lands. Nomads have been going through more tools, more tools who have been traveling. What about the knowledge? Migrating. It's not about how many books you buy, diagnosis, but how much knowledge you can retain. Identity. We want but knowledge, not books. If we should have books, it should be books that should be able to give us knowledge, not just piling up in the room. The crisis and not of using identity relation. We want land, we want land, we want land. Away, coming back not to fill up the land. It's like coming but to become of mind, not being able to relate with each other. Of enlightenment, perfect. Every stage our glorious days are not over. But when you still ahead of clock us, 5, you are not that 2 months old. When you clock 12, all these are precedents that identity confusion against. It's time to exalt them. It's not just by trying to understand where we're trying to come from, but continuous. Not holding wealth is like confusion, but we not addressing the problem of expecting every stage, taking wealth and bringing what others have experienced. You may experience it, but in a little different. To land is cruelty strategy approach. This is a battlefield free mind with a different strategy approach. It's time for us to really start expressing what is really in which we live in. Cruelty, smarter techniques to our very being of divinity. Smart is what brings good. It is not smartness to breast pump. It is rather hard work. The smartness is the child. It is time for us to really work with our representative to suck per state on the milk pumped to reach the comprehension, to come to their senses. Expected that Black History Month even too. They will eat from a mammalian history month, mammalia gland. Recalling, but rather eating plants even to reach the expected of the man. Eating plants is a struggle to be equal with men and needing to take abstinence, evacuate these premises of complication. Complication only means a place of learning, of pondering of the mind, which we must enter. It only becomes complicated when we extend the stay. It is supposed to be a learning ground and not what let us heal a tradition or our land. Let us heal habitated our presidency. Let us heal
It's not a
We, the
habitat
people,
to keep, to heal the future.
It's not to become
an adaptive Generation Z
place
to
to
live in, but rather
our applause,
place to, at the end,
learn
and return to the expected of the mind. Why peace still in the storm with our administration today?
Why we are going through
Must we also see our fault?
Let us understand politics
And we
is
all heal
spirituality.
together effectively.
Humanity is
Not blaming only on
spirituality.
one.
Whatever
But
humans are
understanding
doing
where the
is
problem is
spirituality.
coming from.
And
If we
spirituality
do
is
not want
divinity,
this
and divinity is
presidency,
eternity.
then we don't
Eternity
want
is
to have
perfect
children.
peace. Our journey from
Because
the
it
place
is a
of
woman
storm, of brainstorming,
who has born
should not be
this
complicated.
presidency today.
Let us heal from
We
the
of bearing age, bearing
extending
children,
and
at the wheel
prolongation
of time, to whom all fingers are pointing at.
all the
And
pressures we are
must be able
feeling
to
of
hold
the earth,
hands
fires and
pray,
all
because we
the,
are the key,
the firing of
solution
guns
to our problems.
is because of
the peace steals the storm, back to
prolongation,
peace that has no storm,
the
looking onto
increase of
perfect
population,
peace.
extending
Supremacy
our stay.
is the
Every
goal of
time we are
all.
reaching
The end stages,
not
we
just
make
one,
another new,
and it takes
healing
against the expectation of our
and
forefathers.
weaknesses
We are supposed to be ascending and
with
no one
fullness
descending.
of knowledge.
If they made a mistake, we learn from the
None left
mistakes and make
behind.
lessons.
Thank
And the
you.
lessons become blessings. Not a tradition, but reaching reasoning.
The
For they have reached so many
enlightenment
reasoning,
Jesus.
and we have received this reasoning a blessing.
Royalties of
Must we be able to
Peace.
complete the rest of the
We
reasoning
are
we need to
still in the
achieve?
storms, back to
Constitution is
peace
the
that
care
has
plan.
no storm.
Must be
Holding on
worked
to
with
perfect
effectively.
peace.
It wouldn't have been this hard if we had started
Today
gracefully.
is February 25th.
It is not only by one president to begin to
2025.
emphasize the need to work efficiently with quality.
A significant
And it's
day
not about people looking for jobs,
in
but
Black
rather
History
people
Month.
retiring from jobs,
Experiencing
needing
the commencement of the golden age.
retire early,
This is our 19th
meaning work
episode
already done. What people will take
by
60 years to complete,
Fan
if you complete it in 5 years, what a celebration
on supremacy.
of 55 years. We must not work hard.
What is
It's time we begin
supremacy?
to comprehend what is trying to come to us from our ancestors. The tree has reached its fullness
After
of
watching
blossoming.
the news,
It's no longer a seed, but we must be
and
able
feedback
to help each other adapt
concerning the present
to the
administration
perfection
of
of
the
our
United
being
States of America
without experiencing this disruption.
2025.
When we have
Cry of
babies,
the
we cannot be
people.
transforming into air. We should be able to be humans of expected
In
for
resistance
the young to heal of
to
expected.
the administration.
I hope this message,
Calls our
this
attention
episode helps us to reflect while we journey this road. Losing
to
your
meditate
identity is like killing self. It's like being killed.
upon our purpose before we can reach out
The
to comfort
ethnic
each
cleansing of Gaza. It's like killing
aware that everyone
the
can cry,
Palestinians. Killing their identity is
either
like destroying
ignorantly
them. We need not gun massacre.
or we
We need not
in need of a solution.
making complicated griefs.
Some are the solution, and in
It's time to
tears,
cease fire, and ceasefire will take some
not
movement,
understanding
which are
their calling.
healthier than
It is
any
so
other,
interesting how
but it must be
watching
of mutual love.
the movements in resistance march
And healing of wellness
I
without
can through a
discrimination.
crowd see
Leading on to the next president, who is
President Trump
preparing himself to clock in
marching against
after a
himself.
few years to really be able to
Who is
not
President Trump?
poison
among the
self
people?
with all the complications, but rather enable a strategy that will appease
The children,
and not demoralize the
women
healing that we're
who
trying
haven't
to
had
achieve
children,
from our yesterday
and
mistakes.
all men.
For the young really need us to
These
accomplish
are
health
who we
and
call
wealth.
the rich
Not just health
among the people.
or not just wealth, but both. Thank you all for listening. Peace
The
to the storm.
most
Back to peace
depressed
that has no
one
storm.
while looking on to perfect peace. The woman
Please
who
comment and
has,
let us meditate and think together and help
for a
each other
child,
learn or relearn what should be
the
established so
one
we do
whom
not
all
conflict each other.
stand against,
Thank you.